come on, I'm back, and you are too. Game in Wolf plays Hocus Pocus, which is like putting hockey in your pocket. What I mean is I'm going to some sort of ice level today. So that's what we're going to be. Yeah. Things real good. Wish I could go through this quicker, but hey. It's not as if I'm not doing this as quick as I can. It's just... I was trying to work on another project at the same time, and when I get stuck on one, I work on other ones. Like this one. So, yeah. Yeah, would have done it earlier if I had just thought about those glitch mishaps a little before, but I guess this game is underrated enough that no one cares, so it's okay. Alright. Now, it may not seem like it, but guess what? I'm going to the Arctic. I know there's demons in the Arctic, but that's not what I mean. These are not the New Jersey demons. Which are like devils, but demonic. No, I assure you, there's penguinos and stuff. And like, vaguely masked guys you'd find ice fishing with harpoons throwing at them at you. Vaguely. Ever so vaguely. We can't even give them human features. That's too much. And that's fine. What I don't know is why it's all blue and red. Yeah, I gave up an understanding. That is, no, that's... Look, it is just lagging. Like, I think that's just realistic, because there's just too many enemies on screen for this game. Yeah. In other news, I think I have a way to work with Spear of Destiny now. So you can look forward to that sometime. I might... Shit, I think I might even mention that already, so never mind. It's because I'm seeing all these harpoons, I assume I have to talk about things with spears in them. Yes, spearmint gum. That's the gum of champions. Froze up. Shot him. Once or twice. It's my go-to game. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this game really does lag when you play that. You do it once, that's it. I don't really need to do it again. At least, I hope not. I mean, you know, I fear this is the kind of game in which I believe I could play blindfolded. From memory. Just if I saw it all first and then did it blindfolded. It's like, yeah, I mean, not too fantastic. I can't think of it being too hard as if I just, you know, did it, like, memorized it one at a time, you know? But who knows? I guess it would just be a memory test. Those little orb square things, I think I gotta shoot them down. Yes, the switch of our lords and lads. Today I find out that Jerry Springer has died. I'm not sure if that matters to anyone interested in my content. It doesn't. Next... Wow, you're really on top of the topical life, aren't you there? Not really. Just look at my penguinos. Yeah, pingus! Listen, man. You watch a video of penguins walking around, it'll change your life, man. Yeah, well, I'm my mother's son. I will just watch random animal videos and not even care. It's like, oh, now I understand why you send me random images of animals. Oh! It's like, I get it now. I just like animals. Like, not any more than, like, someone on average wouldn't or would not like animals. But it just seems like, you know, if I can't think of something quick or involved enough to entertain myself and I got a few minutes, let me just watch this animal for a moment. It's like, yeah, because it's kind of a universal appeal, you know? It's the next best thing to talk about the weather. Is just talk about animals. Like, really. That's why people have pets. As like icebreakers sometimes. It's not too bad. And yes, that was an excuse to make an ice pun. You're welcome. You know what killed the dinosaurs, Batman? The Ice Age! Yeah. Yeah, we all know. Actually, no. It was a comet landing which then caused the Ice Age. Or something. You know. If you watch an old Fantasia thing, they didn't know about the whole meteor thing causing the demise of the dinosaurs. They thought they ended in some other way. Like a bunch of earthquakes and volcanoes going off. Not quite. Not quite, but that's... wasn't a bad prediction. It's just weird to see an old prediction proven false later and just like, hey, wait a minute, that's not correct. Basically, any media that's talking about Pluto as a planet right now, I'm like, oh no, they don't know. It was decided by the planet-defining society of defining planets for a society that I live in. Good thing no one lives on that planet. Probably for the best. Pluto, the place so cold, it's not just ice, it's ice 2. Yeah, they literally call it ice 2 because it's that cold. Or, actually, no, I don't remember why it's called ice. It's like a different way of forming the ice that just causes us to give it a different name. One of those things I randomly know, but am not reading enough about because, just like with anything I talk about, chances are I did read about it one time, and I don't want to like spend the rest of my life going under one topic. So I go into the topic of video games the rest of my life. That's how I deal with that. All right, all 4 switches are involved in this combo, so I'm gonna have to count for that one on the top there. I've decided to make it the leftmost digit in my binary concoction. You know, this guy, he kind of looks like someone I knew in 4th grade also. Like, I almost want to associate with him with, like, someone named Travis or something. Does he look like a Travis to you? What kind of person do you think of when you think of the name Travis? That's what I'm wondering. Or maybe you think he's like a Ralph or a Theodore or something like that. Except his name is Hocus Pocus, but come on. That's just like a DJ name. That's not your real name. Get out of here. It's like his code name. Because he's not a very innovative wizard. In fact, according to the story, he's a dropout. Who's just trying to get in good with the council, because if he gets a good council, it gets him like the attention of his love interest. Which I think is not really a good motivation. However, the story is just comedic anyway and should not be taken seriously. It's kind of like that story to that caveman taxi game, which I think is just called Ugh. Which is just like, hey, diamonds get ladies. That's basically the story of that game. It's like, oh, yes. And then you forget the joke is because he's a caveman. You know. I don't know what Neanderthal standards were, but I guarantee that no one gives a shit. Or they shouldn't. That's so long ago. What are we gonna do? Call them out on it? Like, hundreds of thousands of years later? The sins of the great to the 50th power fathers? I don't think so, because most of us might have, like, the same one, if you go to that many greats. Which tells me that, you know, technically every human is related to another human in some fashion, like with all life and living things. Anything that is a form of life is related, like, at the very base of anything involving DNA. I think the exception would probably be, like, I don't know, maybe viruses and bacteria or something? I can only, yeah, maybe not bacteria or amoebas or something, but I'm thinking viruses might be the exception to this. Whatever it is I'm thinking about in terms of life relation. I say that so you don't have to worry about being like, oh, you weren't reproduced directly by this person, but it's like, hey, you liked them anyway. It's just like, yeah, I know. Try not to think of all the igloos of your life that I didn't want to say. It's not every day my igloo is surrounded by giant geometric crystals that belong like in a Lemmings game. But yeah, good little piece of art there. It's very white. This kind of level is like, hey, I need a dark mode, and then I'm like, okay. So here's an idea for a landscape. It looks like the Arctic, but it's dark, so it looks kind of obsidian. And there's like a jet black igloo. Think of that image in your mind, as I will never know if I go there. So if someone wants to draw it, go ahead. I'm brainstorming there. I'm a brainstorm guy. Get ready to brainstorm. The 5 is done. I don't know how it's measuring the time exactly. I'm going to assume seconds, or possibly Mario seconds. If you don't know what Mario seconds are, it's like every 100 Mario seconds is actually 60 seconds. Every 100 Mario seconds a minute. So I'm wondering if it's going by that. Yeah, if you're wondering why if Mario games always goes that fast, I think that's what's happening. But yeah, I thought it meant like it's not saying the exact time. Like it's using like just digits without colons. Like presumably that means all seconds. But who writes like records? Who writes speed records down as like triple digits of seconds? Are you sure you want to be doing that? Just a whole decimal point value, like an absolute time value in seconds. I mean, it might be easier to do programming with those numbers that way, but is that what you really want to do? Is that really what you want to do, ancient Sumerian clock keeper person? He's ancient. He is Sumerian. My one regret is I still can't do this fast enough. But I'm going as fast as I can. At least there's no ice physics. In fact, yeah, there's no ice physics. You know, Clyde's Adventure has ice physics? Yeah. -1 point for this game. Where are the ice physics, man? I guess it would suck. If I walk forward... How does anyone walk like that? Like, the center of balance has to suggest he has a gut of some kind. In fact, yes, I do believe so. I believe in the switches. Which combination have I not tried yet? Oh, there we go. 1001 ways to pull a switch. Turns out that was only like... Yeah, it turns out that was only 16. Yep. That's so funny. I never heard that one in my life. 17, 16. Yeah, that means there's 19 combinations of 4 switch. 20 combinations? Whatever. Worry about the math later. Or don't. It would have been solved anyway. It's like, that's why I never try to memorize those things. Except for maybe when I'm playing Duke Nukem 3D. In fact, yes, except Duke Nukem 3D. I'll actually write what the switch combinations are for that. Here, there's just so many, it wasn't worth it. And, like, it's not usually, you know... I'm not really that much in danger. Like, an enemy is not going to mess with me while I'm pulling the switch, because... if there's an enemy near the switch, it's already come out to play, and so I'm dealing with it first before I think about the switch. But Duke Nukem 3D, since there could be enemies around, I just kind of write down what the switch combination is so I can get it through with it before any enemies has the chance to put the drop on me. So, there's my thought process regarding binary switches. Again. What do you want me to talk about in this game? I can only just mildly comment on the theme and what slight changes there might be, and that's about it. I hear in episode 2 we have like elevator platforms, and that's about as more mechanics as we can get. Yeah, I don't have the jump potions yet, or the... Yeah, we haven't seen the fireball potions yet either. But, yeah, those will happen. It's like, I can only cast one spell, and it's a thunderbolt. I'm an electric... Yeah, I think Hocus Pocus would be an electric, normal human type. Human-shaped type, yes. Who invariably would be able to learn a psychic TM or two. I think this is about right. Make it happen. Actually, this is a thought I had. I was thinking of, like, many of the DOS action heroes should be part of, like, a Smash Brothers clone. Not so much of the first-person shooter heroes so much, because, you know, they'd all have guns, and that wouldn't... that would just have to be more like if it was like a Contra multiplayer game, you know? So, if the other characters that aren't gun-based go in there, it's like, you gotta give them guns too. And Hocus Pocus wouldn't really have a gun, even though he would shoot something like a gun. It'd be like having an all Mega Man fighting game, which there is. And it goes exactly as expect, with a bunch of projectiles flying out the ass everywhere. I'd rather see moves connect and be like, it's projectile battle time. It's like, okay, this is like a 2-player versus shoot 'em. Actually, why are there not 2-player versus shoot 'em ups? What happened with that idea? It didn't happen, did it? It just didn't. I can explain. Tough break. You'll get it next time. Yes, I know, I'm human. I make mistakes. What? Don't worry about it. I know these videos can drag. Yeah, they can. But despite the length, it really was no trouble at all to do this. Like I said, it's mostly accounting for glitches and just remembering where the hell I'm going so I don't actually wander too long. And luckily there was none of that. I wasn't wandering around forever in most of this. Maybe in a few parts, but I usually had a direction in mind, so it would only be about as bad as Metroid backtracking, which is not even that bad anyway. It's less that I get lost, I don't, and more that I forget where things are. So it's more like Game Wolf misplaces items. He doesn't actually misplace himself. Does that make sense? In a certain kind of view, that would make you lost too, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd be lost too if you watched a show called Lost and tried to make sense of the plot and characters. I know you would. It'd be a supernatural expectation, I'm sure. But I guess as long as you're an angel, you won't have to worry about it. That's right. This time I just pound that button. You could probably do with using a turbo controller for this, and it would, like, not matter too much at all. I can't see the skill involved in pushing the button to shoot like this. Like, even in Commander Keen and Duke Nukem, there's more skill in shooting. Here's just like, just mash the button. Whether they come up in front of you, yeah, they're not really all that threatening. They're just the if-all, be-all to the things. What does this switch do? Oh, wow. That was a very unfortunate warp. It's the warp that wastes one time. One time only. Crowns. He's crowning, I'm crowning. Crowning, you're drowning, I'm frowning. This is the way. This is the way. All my powers are focused on my face. Dum bum 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 bum. Let me do some quick math in my head. Okay. If I give myself a space of 3 hours tomorrow, it looks like from here, I'm gonna assume this video and the rest will be out in by the weekend. Yep, that sounds about right. But then what do? I don't know. I've learned that I should not try to plan too many things at once, because I mean, yes, I can handle memories of how to play a game every once in a while, but sometimes I need to know the exact level design and what I'm dealing with in memory. Otherwise, I'm going to forget, and that means I have to practice it one more time. And it's a gamble on effort and time. You know, you could make me think I'm oh man, he gives up too easily. Maybe, but I find the strategy of working around and trying something else, which leads into another potential gold mine. Not literally, mind you. A content mine, I guess, leads into a content mine. It's kind of worth it. It's all the content. People always tell me, hey, what if YouTube were to die? I'm like, what if you were to die? You're asking me when YouTube's gonna end? You may as well just ask me when all life ends. I mean, oh yeah, YouTube will probably die before the universe dies, but that's because everything would have to die for the universe to die, so it's not really a gotcha moment, is it? YouTube has to exist in some form always. And YouTube is the only unlike social medias or other social medias and other just websites that have a central focus without the need for central focus. I can't imagine someone that has many video databases as YouTube. It doesn't exist, and that is such a huge pull that Google, aka Alphabet, has over the rest of the internet. It's not become their strongest feature, when really their strongest feature should have been the search engine, but I digress. It's oh, you can just be taken down anytime. Most of the complaints of YouTube that I hear about are from 0.01% of the entire user base of YouTube or less. which is why it doesn't get regarded unless you're, like, super popular. And that's why it feels scummy that I feel like I have to grab attention or monetize audience just to make sure my content stays afloat, right? Like, that's what I'm worried about. I don't care so much about advertisements as I do, like, I'd rather know who the advertisers are. Like, they want to worry about my content because they don't know who I am. How about I, the YouTuber, have to worry about what the advertiser's advertising? You know? Because it might not be appropriate for the person watching this. Like, if you're watching Hocus Pocus, or if you're watching DOS games, you probably want to see ads on, like, you probably want to see ads on, like, tech devices, right? Most likely. Or what about an ad for, like, an FPGA console? That'd be appropriate for this channel. But yeah, just computer devices. Oh, well, yeah, sure, occasionally. Of course. I mean, it would be kind of silly because, you know, most of those are AAA titles, but at least I'd know it'd be like, well, maybe, but it's such a big market that you'd have to really pin down which ones it'd fall under. Like, what if there was an ad for the newest Doom, for instance? If there was one Beyond Doom Eternal there was an ad for, yeah, like, that would work technically. So, that's fine. I don't know if I got the keys legit or not. Just trust my gameplay judgment, okay? Okay, yes, I did get them legitimately. Okay, that's good. They were both locking that marble down. Real something fierce. Cool. Oh, wait, what happens if I... Does 1,000,000 points fit in the bottom left of the screen? I don't remember. You can usually get away with getting 1,000,000 points per episode, so... I would suggest getting 1,000,000 points. No, that's not your imagination. The music theme of this is just like the title screen theme. That's kind of lame. But at least we're in space, so that's something.